Right, I have started recording. Could you give me a quick verbal agreement?
Yeah, I allow the recording of this video. Uh,
I have discovered today that if I upload a recording to YouTube in a private channel and
yeah,
YouTube makes the closed captions.
I can't hear you. Sorry. Is it mine or it should work?
Should be
Oh,
working.
it's yeah. Now it's working. Nice one.
Okay. I've discovered that uploading audios to a private channel on YouTube really helps with transcription because YouTube automatically creates closed captions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice one. That's interesting.
All right. I think what we
Yep.
can do right now is I would probably ask you to give me a brief introduction so that I can tailor my questions to your experience.
Please, of course.
Mhm.
So I'm Marco. Originally, I'm from Italy. I've been working straight after university in a couple of consulting firms, PwC, Ernest Young, and Bain. Straight after that, I joined my master's in London, where I found basically this passion. I discovered this passion for venture capital, startups, and venture capital. And then straight after my master's at LBS, I joined Rocket Internet, specifically Global Founders Capital, which is the venture capital arm of Rocket Internet. I was actually in the Berlin office, even if I don't speak German, which is quite interesting. And Rocket was part of two different teams. One has been the venture capital, and so early stage investments, pre-seed and seed mainly, and the other one was the growth and private equity team. Um, Actually, after I mean, due to coronavirus, there has been some change in priorities, and so like I really decided I wanted to have an operational experience after working in a fund, and so I joined Cree, which is one of the leading digital health startups in the European ecosystem. Cree is actually Swedish, but it operates in almost the entire Europe. And it has launched a new platform several months ago, which is called Livy Connect, which is basically a platform that allows the video conferencing between doctors and patients. And then I'm actually doing right now is basically launching this solution with new functionalities in the Italian market, which is a very interesting one because like it's really behind the other European countries, but at the same time it has a lot of potential, and so that's what we're proposing, and let's see if it happens in the next few months. That's briefly my introduction.
Mhm. Thank you. Given the breadth of your experience, I don't even know where exactly to start first, but I think let's start chronologically.
Yep,
Could you speak to your experience in the VC arms
of course.
and about your experience in really working with the German entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Yeah, of course, like working in the fund, and I mean, the Rocket Internet means, of course, working with Germany specifically, because like most of the investments in the Berlin office are made in the German area. What I was doing basically was understanding all the different type of opportunities in the different industries. I mean, the job of the investment analysis is, of course, like the entire due diligence process for potential investments, and this of course comprehends the initial analysis of what are the opportunities out there in the market, what's the market gap basically that needs to be filled, and then of course like there is the evaluation of the opportunities. During my experience, I have to say I've been working with a lot of sectors and a lot of industries. I would say that mainly I've been working with the e-commerce space
Mhm.
and with the healthcare space as well, and with the prop tech space.
Okay.
Those are the three main Whereas that developed in Germany at the time. Of course, like now it's, I mean, the VC industry is always changing, right? I mean, like, because every month there is a new type of economic scenario and there are like a new type of opportunities in the market. And so, yeah, it's really volatile as a job. So yeah, that's an introduction about what I was doing
Mhm.
mainly.
And when you work with German startups,
Yep.
so you focused mostly on due diligence and less on, like, let's say, sourcing.
But I mean, you focus. I mean, I don't know, like if you know the specific structure of a VC, but they have usually a team which is dedicated to sourcing the investments. So sourcing investments is a double side process, I would say. From one side, there is of course like the outbound sourcing, which is like made by a team that screens, I don't know, thousands of companies per week, and understands which ones are more valuable than the others. And at the same time, of course, we have the inbound sourcing, which is the network effect, meaning that you already know which startups, especially from Series A on, you already know which ones basically are already valuable and could already disrupt the market. And so then it's a matter of network, right? Because like you have to be in contact with those startups. It's a sales job, and that's very important to understand, especially at the beginning, because you know how to play, and you have to understand how to play and how to interact with this in this type of environment. So yeah, that's but yeah, from my side, of course, like I was mainly focused on the understanding of what the investments were, rather than like the sourcing. And so yeah, I was I mean, responsible for the due diligence of the investments I was assigned to. And this involves, of course, like a competitive analysis, a market analysis, a financial analysis, and specifically also an operational analysis, meaning that you have to, something that is a lot of times ignored by venture capitalists, is that um, the VC fund has to understand whether the company has the operational capabilities of fulfill the goals. That's extremely important. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
briefly what I was doing.
And just to confirm, at which stages were the startups that you were looking into?
Let's say that it ranged a lot, mainly Series A and B.
Okay.
Specifically, yeah, the Series A and B were the most popular one and the ones specialized into. Of course, like working at GFC offers you the possibility of working in a lot of different stages. And we have like a private equity team, which is like specialized in investments with debt. We have like a real estate team, which is completely different. The early stage team invests in pre-seed and seed. They launched the new fund,
Mhm.
Flash Ventures, last year. And so, yeah, you have a lot of opportunities. But in my personal case, I was specialized in Series A and B.
Okay, got it. And once you decided that you want this startup in your portfolio, how
Yeah.
much support, I guess, the places you worked at offered to these startups?
Uh, I mean, not that much, meaning that, of course, like the support in terms of the economic support, of course, like it's relevant because it allows you to I mean, the funding itself like is the most important part. But regarding the operational support, me specifically, I didn't really follow the companies. Of course, like you develop some business plans and some operational plans in order to understand to support the startups in their growth. But this is not like working inside the startups, and so like this is a little bit external as a role, I would say. I mean, I'm talking about my specific role. Of course, if you talk about the partner in this case, this is something different, right? Because like it allows you to I mean, the partner itself is responsible for the growth of the startup he invested the money into, and so that's a different type of scenario.
Makes sense. And I think now we're really going a bit more into the international process. So imagine
Yep,
that, let's say, a startup, and we'll come back a bit later to your current experience in
of
Italy,
course, yeah,
very relevant. But in the VCs you've been in, imagine a startup you have decided to expand internationally.
yeah.
How much did you offer any kind of like networks for them to enable that role, or they already pretty established in terms of having resources to
Well,
expand?
what do you mean? What do you mean by networks and
So I know
resources?
that like some VCs I've talked to say, oh, we have corporate partners around the world, so we're just gonna ring them up and put them together. If it's especially B2B, we're gonna offer them to our corporate connections in different country if they need that.
Okay, makes sense. Um, to be honest, it's pretty rare. I mean, I didn't see this type of thing happening.
Mhm.
Simply because like in my, I mean, at the now of course, like I can talk my current experience, which is like perfectly in line with this, but when I was working at GFC, I didn't follow the market expansion. Probably I could talk about one company which is called Frank Smile, and it was a startup that unfortunately went bankrupt last year.
Mhm.
Frank Smiler, actually, the beginning of this year. Frank Smiler is the perfect example of a market expansion because, like, I mean, I don't know if you know the company, but they used to make aligners,
Okay.
teeth aligners, and they expanded, of course, like in several different countries, but they didn't receive any support from the fund in this case, and so
Okay.
like it was literally up to them.
All right.
But yeah, it's I didn't follow any other processes in this sense.
And absolutely, like not every fund does it, so it's good to check if you did or not.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think for Rocket, I know that the startups that they build inside Rocket Internet, I usually try to expand as much as I can.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That was Frank Smile is one of the cases because like it was built inside Rocket Internet and it had Rocket, mainly Rocket funding, and so yeah, that's a perfect example. They try to expand. Of course, I mean the support the startup received was people, Rocket people, and that's the
Okay.
support, right?
Yeah.
And so like incubating a company means that of course like you take the majority of the equity, but at the same time you deploy people, Rocket people that are know already how to operate a startup, right? And they can build like the perfect team in a couple of weeks. And
Mhm.
so that's the support we may talk about in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. And then maybe I think it would be even more interesting to talk about your current experience because you are working at a startup that is
Yeah.
originally from Sweden, but you're in Italy.
Yeah, yeah, that's
You're in
exactly what
Germany now, right? But
what, sorry?
you're in Italy right now, right?
I'm in Italy. Yeah, I'm the only person working for Cree, which is based in Italy,
Mhm.
and I have like a couple of other guys that work with me, but they're based in Germany. Right now, what Cree is doing is basically expanding in several countries. Of course, like the expansion initially is superficial. Let's call it that, because it doesn't deploy an office in the market, in the market in which the startup wants to expand to. And that's the most important part because like for example, Cree is offering this service I was talking about before, which is like the video conferencing platform,
Mhm.
and the launch has been like from Sweden to Italy, but it has been like completely remote as a thing, meaning that doctors in Italy use the service, but the entire team apart from me, they're based in Sweden and in Germany. That's one thing. Of course, once the fund receives, for example, our project A is funding Cree. once they fund and also create a company, they see and they register some traction, they're able to deploy deploy the office, basically the country of interest, in Italy in this case. What I'm doing right now is basically a comprehensive business plan that justifies the opening of the new office. And of course, like the business planning was what it's going to be the product in the following year. And so like what are the functionalities basically that could defend the product from the other competitors, and what could be of course like in line with what are the market needs in Italy, and what's the opportunity. And so like I did a study of the Italian market in terms of course of total addressable market, of service available market, and service obtainable market. And based on that, of course, you analyze also the competition. And so what's potentially the market share I could get with Cree in Italy. And having analyzed this opportunity, of course, allows you to understand whether there is a potential or not in the Italian market. And of course, combined with the product allows you to take a decision, right? Whether to invest or not for the opening a new office. Of course, opening a new office means that it's talking about Greece purely operational expenses, meaning that we have to pay our personnel, and we have to pay, of course, like all the costs associated with operating the platform itself. And so yeah, it's let's say that it's a quite a that's a quite big investment to make.
Yeah. And here I have a question. So
Yeah.
why, let's say, Italy and not Spain?
That's a good question. Once, I mean, first of all, because there is a test in the market, right? And the test has been like 4 months of this free platform that has been offered both in the Spanish and also like in other markets. But let's call it, let's take in this case Spain and Italy, right? Livy Connect has been offered in both markets as a free platform. Support has been offered for the platform, like a couple of business development guys to promote the solution and whatever. That's the important part. Of course, like Italy registered a lot of traction rather than Spain. That's the key point, because like if Spain is not interested, they're not using Livy Connect, and so like they would not be interested in using additional functionalities in the future, right? And so that's the important thing. Once you want to expand into a market, you have to test the market before, and the market testing usually it's 3 to 4 months of launching the free version of the product, or like a simpler version of the product. And once you understand like if the free version is appreciated and has some interest in the market, then of course like you invest heavily in the market itself.
Got it. And which other markets has it already entered besides Sweden?
Well, we have the UK market, the German market, and the French market,
Okay.
which are pretty big, yeah. And so, yeah, those are the 3 countries.
Yeah, I'm asking questions here. I'm just trying to understand how
Of course.
how the whole process happens. So
Yeah.
basically, gathered around in, the Swedish headquarters and said, okay, let's expand. Which markets should we go to and why? Why them? So I guess if there are active competition, then that's a reason to maybe downgrade that market in terms of priority, as I take it, and then see where you can actually go get the first mover advantage in available
Yeah,
space.
it's
Mhm.
yeah. No, please, sorry,
Yeah,
didn't understand
but
the
like, what
question.
else is a factor?
Well, once you have to decide whether to open a market or not, I would say like the biggest thing is the market itself. And so what's the overall opportunity? And it's usually the service of the available market, or the maximum amount of revenues
Yeah.
at the maximum price you could charge users, you
Mhm.
can actually have in your income statement, right?
Yeah.
And that's
But then
the
there is
first
the
thing.
US.
What, sorry?
But then there is the US. It's a big market.
uh, exactly, but like that's the main, that's the first thing, and secondly, of course, like there is the competition, as you mentioned before. And so like what are the alternatives in the market? And usually when I do a competitive analysis, that's something I usually, I mean, I did a lot in at Rocket Internet. Once you do a competitive analysis, you measure not only the type of functionalities and the different type of features a company offers in the
Hmm.
market, not only the price, whatever, but you measure also the funding the company has. I mean, the competitors have, because of course, if the company has a funding of 300K and another one has 250 million, it's something different, right? The 250 million one has the potential to conquer the market. And so you measure like a specific set of criteria in the market itself, and in the in the competition, sorry. And then like of course, like you take a decision based on that.
Hmm. Makes sense. And once you did analysis and said, all right, we want to move to Germany, like were you around during that process?
No, 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 no. I joined pre straight after, because like straight after Rocket,
Mhm.
and because they needed a guy that was opening the Italian market. And so that's yeah, that's actually they needed a couple of guys. So it's not only me, but yeah, it's so straight after the opening of the German market, basically.
Okay. I know that usually it helps when if you want to go to new market to have some kind of people that are whole local and to have a network there. So I think they have you, and I guess they hired you for that.
It's yeah, that's one of the key points, of course. Like talking about, no, they hired me because like of course I have an experience with startups, and I think that's the most important point. Of course, like it would have been a better hire if the guy instead of me had connections in the healthcare systems,
Mhm.
because of course, like once you launch, we're talking about healthcare right now, but like once you launch in healthcare solution, if you have, I don't know, like connections with the government, connection with the all the entities that are present in Italy, of course, like you receive easily an authorization for your solution. And also like you can do a lot of partnerships, whatever, and it's totally easier. Of course, like it's something I'm doing right now, but I don't have any connections. I mean, I'm trying to make them, but yeah, I'm not in the healthcare space in Italy, unfortunately. I wanted to be a doctor, though. I mean, when I was in high school, but yeah, things change.
Oh, well, but yes, no, I understand that absolutely. All right. And then if we step back a little bit back from the whole process of just internationalization, and if you were to think about, let's say, German ecosystem and European entrepreneurial ecosystem,
Yeah.
what would you say are the key players, organizations, like places, nodes? What are the things to be, the people to know? Like, if you were to describe it, like what comes to mind?
But in the in the German ecosystem, you said.
Well, it's
Um,
primarily Germany, but if there's something that spans Europe and also is important to mention, please
yeah,
do.
yeah. No, totally. That's a difficult and also good question at the same time. I mean, in order to meet with people that are important in the European ecosystem, I would say that you might go through the consulting firms and investment banks that have connections with everybody. And so like if you want to really have connections, and if you want to meet with the who change the economic scenario, or like who has an eye on the European economic scenario, the best thing would be to go through the consulting firms and then investment banks, which at the moment have the control of everything, right? Because like they have all the biggest clients. Me think about important as well, of course, like and here we talk about, of course, like the current reality, and so like existing companies that work nowadays. Of course, like if you want to predict the future, you go meeting incubators and venture capital funds that have the control of where money is invested today for the future, and that's, I think, the most important point, because you really have an eye on what are the different type of technologies. For example, I don't know, 10 years ago, people working in the VC space knew already that these e-commerce stages, these telemedicine, these prop tech were coming, right? And so that's the most important thing. So yeah.
Any specific names? Like,
But you can try to meet with my ex boss, Oliver Samber, which is I mean, one of the Sambers brothers that is founder of Rocket Internet, and yeah, that's I think specifically in the German ecosystem, one of the few guys that changed the economy, and so yeah, changed the German, not only the startup ecosystem but also the economic ecosystem. And so that's yeah, one good example of a person I will talk to in this case, if he allows you for an interview, of course.
or what's his name? Sam?
It's he's called Oliver, Samer.
Uh-huh. Could you spell it in the chat? Just
Oh yeah, of course, sure. Where is the chat? Oliver.
oh, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
All right. That could be very interesting. I don't know if you'll feel comfortable trying to make an introduction.
I mean,
I'll just reach out.
I no. I could try to do it. I mean, like yeah, that's I could try to do it, of course.
Okay. And then only if he's up for it, then I'll be happy to talk.
Of course, please. Yeah.
I think I can share the blurbs that I think I've sent you. Probably the same pitch.
I think so. Yeah.
I have actually I think I have a more detailed background that I can also send you.
Of course. Yeah. Please.
But I think you can just forward it and then make it simple for you.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I have it in front of me, and so.
Okay.
Sure.
All
Sure
right.
thing.
Thank you. That'll be really interesting. I appreciate the offer. And okay, and then how about for Cree, as you work there now? What were the important, I guess, partners or any kind of?
Actually, I mean, you can try talk with. Um, there is a guy which is like the new COO, which was the chief strategy officer of Spotify Global, and that's a guy I actually have to present I mean, the plan for Italy in the next few weeks. Or there is another guy which is called Luke Paul Nielsen,
Okay.
and he's the VP for internationalization, which I think it's quite relevant.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. What, sorry? You know who he is?
I think no, I actually don't know
Oh no,
him.
no, okay, sorry. And no, he's probably like a guy which is perfectly in line with what you're looking for. I don't know, like if my answers were satisfying, but he's an expert in Make Cree International, Livy Connect actually International, and so I would talk to him. yeah, those are like the key people. Of course, like there is the CEO, but both the CEO and COO are extremely busy, specifically in this period. So they don't really, I mean, have time for interviews. But still, I mean, like try doesn't cost, and so why not?
All right, thank you. All right, then
Nice
I'll
one.
just, I think after the call, I will send you a blurb of more information. Okay, I think we are actually wrapped up with questions, and I don't want to hold it too much late into the night. But I wish you best of luck with looking for partners in Italy. I know it is hard though it ends. I've been working with a couple of startups on, expansion projects into new markets, and I know it's hard.
No, it's yeah, it's but it's interesting at the same time. In case you're interested after university, just like give us a call, and I mean, if you ever wanna join we in this crazy plan, crazy expansion plan in the entire Europe. But yeah, it's I guess it's interesting because like it's one of the
Hello?
can you hear me?
I think it froze for a second, so I cannot see
Oh,
you,
no worries.
but I can hear you.
Yeah, the important is to hear, I guess. But yeah, no, that's what I was saying. So yep, thanks a lot for this interview. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for helping me. This was real insightful. Yeah, it will be really good.
Let me know if I can make some introductions, or yeah, let me know if I can be useful, like in any other case.
Mhm. Thank you. All
Super
right,
top.
then have a
Thanks,
good night and good luck to you.
and good luck to you for your project as well.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Great. Bye bye. Thanks.